So I want to dive a little deeper. You touched on it, but the lean mass hyperresponder,
Yes.
right? So the triglycerides are low, but the
Yes.
cholesterol is high.
Yes. So the lean mass hyperresponder, this was popularized by Nick Norwitz and Dave Feldman. Nick Norwitz, I think, is an MD PhD, and then Dave Feldman is an engineer, and they are both low carb keto guys. And basically, what they found, particularly Dave Feldman, who's the one who initiated this, found, hey, when I go low carb, my LDL, my total cholesterol, all this jumps up, but my triglycerides get quite low, and then my HDL also stays high as well. And so basically in the lean mass hyperresponder, which the general idea is that your body is relying heavily on utilizing fatty acids. And so you start to upregulate this transport system of the using the lipoproteins, LDL, HDL, VLDL, et cetera, to drive the fats to the tissues because you don't have a lot of carbohydrate coming in. You have usually they're exercising and usually they don't have a lot of body fat. So you have a lot of export of fats to the tissues because you're using all of this fat on a regular basis. And it reflects again in the lipid profile because you're just seeing, oh, we need to ship more packages of fat to the tissues. So let's get more Amazon trucks out there. Let's get more LDL out there to transport these fats because the utilization is quite high. And this state, even though it's high total cholesterol, high LDL, high VLDL is actually low, but you're seeing the high LDL, it's not necessarily an atherogenic dyslipidemia, which is where you see the risk of cardiovascular disease. Instead, what you're seeing is this person's on a low carb diet. They're pretty lean. They have a relatively high activity level and possibly a decent amount of muscle mass. And so they need to have all this fatty acid export going on to power all this stuff that they have going on. And so as an example, in this state, like, hey, let me just give you a statin that blocks your production of cholesterol and lowers things altogether. It's like, maybe that's not the best idea in this state. Maybe this state is just a function of like their context and it's not actually pathology. And so I think that's the idea that they're presenting. And the uproar about this, like, why is this so important? Why does everybody care about this? Because you're seeing an alternative state that is showing high cholesterol, high LDL and things along these lines. And if there's not a pathology associated with it, it completely starts to question the lipid hypothesis, which is the idea that just high cholesterol causes heart disease in and of itself. We need to smash cholesterol all the way down. So you have this on one side with this specifically, you have people like Nick Norwitz and Dave Feldman. And on the other side, you have people like Peter Attia who've been pushing this smash your cholesterol levels all the way down, the statins, the PCSK9 inhibitors, these different elements. Then you also even had a debate recently with Dr. Paul Saladino and Derek from More Plates, More Dates, where Paul is saying, like, look, I don't think it's a great idea to just pharmacologically lower your cholesterol. And Derek is saying, well, cholesterol associated with all these risks. So again, this is where you're seeing these camps break down of high cholesterol, low cholesterol. And without this discussion of context, whereas Dave Feldman and Nick Norwitz actually brought context into this. And I think that's like why there's such this debate around the lean mass hyperresponders.